Welcome to the Gen Z Sanctum, the most epic podcast you have ever listened to. Maybe, that's still to be determined. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gen Z Sanctum, our podcast. Just getting it out there right now. The podcast with two hosts, myself, Nate Remington, and Nathan Langford, sitting across from me.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. That's all I need you for. Get out. No.
Okay. Bye. See you
Okay.
guys later.
We're kidding, of course. Okay. So this is season 2 of the Gen Z Sanctum. Now, what does that mean? Absolutely nothing, because there's only a few things changing. First of all, the structure of the podcast, how we're doing the podcast. So, like with many other famous podcasts, including one that I'll name, This Paranormal Life, we are doing a system where every episode, one of the hosts comes up with a topic, research ahead of time, and leads the episode essentially. So I'm
The other person's like the co-host. They're just dangling along like a caboose.
You know, they add to the conversation. They get schooled sometimes if they don't know
ask
about a certain thing. Yeah. So I'm hosting this week's episode. Nathan will be hosting next week's episode. Then I'll host the episode after that, and so on. You get the point. So we got 2 topics to do today. Well, not really 2 topics. We've got a very slightly mini topic now that we're in the first episode of the season 2 of the podcast. We're going to take a look at the analytics for the first season of episodes and tell you guys what episode was the best and which episode was the worst. So, coming in at the best episode, we've got episode 4, Growing Up, Meeting Each Other, and struggles along the way with exactly 11 plays. Now, jokingly enough, the next episode is 9. So we've got 9/11 on the first numbers of the play.
Okay.
Yeah, episode 5. So the least popular episode was the most recent, episode 12. 1 play. Why are you guys not listening to us, guys? Like, seriously, like this is where you should be listening to us more. Like, an old episode 4 should have less plays than a modern one because we've gotten better at it. What the frick is wrong with all of you? So, that's just something I wanted to mention. But on to our main topic. Which console is the best? I did some research. Some say it's the SNES, say that that's the best console. Others say that the PS2 was the best console ever made, or popular, or whatever. Nathan says it's the Wii, and we have a link to put up so that we can read this. A critic presents the Nintendo Wii. Read a little bit about it and, get to know, in case you don't got in yet. Excuse me, my brain just had a frick up. Just in case you don't know what the Wii is or don't know much about it, here is what this person had to say. So, it is 2006 to 2017 was probably the manufacturing date, because the Wii's have existed way beyond 2017. In fact, the store closed only like a couple of months ago.
What do you mean?
Like the e-store for the Wii closed a couple of months
No,
ago.
that was for the Wii U. I'm not sure when the e-store for the Wii was turned off.
2017, let's see. So we have Nintendo manufactured it, obviously. That's kind of
I think that's
obvious.
more like how long they supported it.
Right, probably. So, manufacturer, Nintendo, obviously.
No, why would it be Nintendo?
Yeah. Front, optical disc, yes. I don't know if Wii U's had this option, but back then you could only have discs. There was no such thing as digital-only consoles back then.
The eShop was new.
Mm-hmm. So, unlike today, where you get PS5, where you have digital versions and then hard disk versions, 2 different separate versions of the console, where one, you exclusively get games off of an e-store, And the other one, you can do both. You can get e-games, and also there's a disk drive you can actually put discs into. This had only disk drive. Like, there's no option for an e-only Wii at the time, which is interesting. So, save compatibility, internal memory card. So the console itself had some memory, but not much. You would probably want to get a memory card, which is something you can plug in, so that, the more games you play, you could have save files.
Well, okay, I'll say this. The Wii did not have memory card. The Wii had SD card slot.
Well, it says memory card right here.
Memory card, that was for if you use GameCube games.
Right. So, controller ports for GameCube. So, yeah. Right. You could also connect your GameCube to this thing, which is kind of cool.
It was a GameCube.
So, was GameCube also made by Nintendo? I'm assuming yes.
Yes.
Like the actual, Cube. Yes. Okay.
Cube.
Shut up.
A cube is a cube. No, it's a cube.
A cube. Yes, a cube.
Cube.
We need to put that on a shirt. The Gen Z sang them the cube. Anyway, the cube. I'm laughing. That's hilarious. You guys, be sure to like and subscribe for cube.
Oh my gosh.
The initial price of the Wii was $250, which not bad, honestly.
For 2006.
For 2006, yeah, that would have been.
I think that was like 300 something in today's money.
Yeah, 2006 was not that long ago. Money hasn't changed a whole lot, but yeah,
it's changed more than you would think, but especially
but not compared to 18 something or other. Money has changed a lot since back then. Anyway, a penny. Oh, that's worth 2 pennies now. Anyway, took the industry by storm in late 2006. Yes. So, Nathan, why do you think that the Wii was your favorite console?
Well, one, I grew up, and two, it had the most.
You grew up? Wow. Nathan grew up, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. Continue.
All right, Mr. Cube.
Okay. All right, continue.
Well, I grew up with the Wii for many, many years. It was the first main console I got.
Mm-hmm.
No, we got. It was kind of a family thing.
We got.
Get it? We.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was also the first Nintendo console besides the Switch that had the most games made for it.
Oh, really?
Because it was the first Nintendo console to first post a 6-digit price number for how many were sold.
Wow.
So, I mean, you can see why, because it was supported for so many years.
Oh, yeah. The Wii was still... We had a Wii. The Cube family. My family. I'm never getting over that. My family had a Wii at one point in time. So, in the family room over there, we connected a Wii to our TV for about a year, but like the 360 that I had, it kind of sat mostly unused about 3/4 of that time.
Yeah.
But eventually, it's just stopped working. It wouldn't come on anymore for some odd reason, and we found out that something had phone! Shut up, Nathan's phone! Nobody cares about you!
Anyway, continue.
Something had eaten through the power cord. So it wouldn't come on, and we were like...
How? It was inside.
What? So apparently it had eaten through the cord just enough that it would come on, but if it was moved, the wires would fray and it wouldn't work anymore. So we unplugged it, went down, and right next to where it plugs into the wall, part of the plastic had been chopped away and the cord had been eaten into. We thought that wasn't a problem, but apparently somebody tried to figure out how to fix it and bent the cord like this. Oh, it must not be working, and broke that cord in the middle. The metal part of the cord in the middle broke it like this.
Wow.
It probably wasn't me, but I'm not going to say it wasn't me, because it might have been me. It might have been... It could have been.
It might have been the Cube problem.
I'm never going to live that down. let's see. Nintendo was forced to quickly launch the high-definition Wii U in late 2012 because the razor sharp 360 and PS3 offerings. So yes, while the Wii was a popular console, its graphics were sort of quickly overshadowed by later consoles from other.
Well, yeah, because it only could max out the same resolution that the PS2 could.
That's true. But the PS2, which we'll talk about probably in a minute, was also a popular console.
The most still.
The most popular
But
selling console, yeah.
the Wii U, still today, is the biggest console flop ever.
That's true. And Nathan has one, so that tells you a little bit about it.
All right, Cube man.
Okay.
But the problem with the Wii U is that it looked like a Wii
Mm-hmm.
with
Really?
a
You're not
gamepad.
kidding. Ah.
It was horrible marketing
Mm.
because they were never known for making, super high-end consoles. So when they came out with the Wii U, which was powerful,
Yep.
but it also cost a lot
Yeah.
compared to other consoles. And people are just like, I mean, I get why you have a Wii, but PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, that stuff came out. Here's the question. Well, not a question, but when I've been at your place many times and I've handled the Wii U a couple of times. It looks a little bit like a Steam Deck. A little bit like a Steam Deck or a PSP, kind of a more bulky version, a bigger, bulkier version of the Steam Deck and PSP.
PSP was way more smaller, but similar
Way
to the
more
Steam
smaller,
Deck, yeah.
It looks similar
Well,
to the Steam Deck.
okay.
I think.
It looks kind of like a Switch, kind of.
But like a bigger, bulkier
Yeah.
version of the Switch. The Switch, by the way, very good. It's coming into the potential of being the next best-selling console of all time because it has so many games that you can play on it now.
Yeah, but it's for all the modern games that people are trying to make for it, it's underpowered.
That's true. So what they need to do is the Switch 2, where they upgrade the power. Well, they don't need to do that, but they should maybe consider in new, because they're still making Switches, they're still manufacturing them. They should consider like a 1.1 or so, like something like an update where it's still the Switch, but it's like a more powerful version of it, slightly more powerful version of it that can
Well,
run
so
more stuff.
far, the rumors are out that they're working on one.
Ah, sounds fun. We shall watch its career with great interest, because the Switch has the potential to be one of, if not the most popular video console of our time, of this time, currently. Let's see. The system practically silent compared to the Xbox 360 and PS3. That is true. The Wii's weren't actually all that loud.
No, they were like dead silent.
So I had a 360.
You turn it on.
That's true. But nothing compared to the PS4 that sounded like a jet taking off when you turned it on. Have you seen those TikToks where it's like, and it just starts
And then
levitating?
there's people
in the
with
air.
markers
Yeah.
that tell jets where to go.
And the PS4 just starts levitating up in the air because of how loud it gets. Yeah. So there were many different controls. There's the Wii Remote Plus, and the nunchuck
Actually,
attachment.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Did you know that the full Wii controller,
Mm-hmm.
Wii and nunchuck,
Mm-hmm.
as you couldn't even get it a bundle, you had to sell them separately.
Mhm.
You know how much it costs?
How much?
$80.
Wow. You could buy a part of a new Wii for that much money.
Yeah,
You could buy
that's how much they cost brand new.
Yeah, you could buy a Wii now for $80.
No, for way less than 80.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. I haven't bought a Wii recently, so I don't know what they're priced for anymore. But yeah, they had, typical the classic like white packaging with the Wii console, the Wii thing. But yeah, one of the most popular things about the Wii was the Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Those were two of the most popular collection of games from our like.
It's more to make
childhood.
it more family friendly.
That's true. Like Wii bowling.
Yeah.
The amount of
Even if you
time.
throw the ball backwards, everybody celebrates and says,
Yeah,
"What a great job you
the
did!"
amount of times that I've thrown the ball in the back room or in the behind me, and the people have been like, "Wee!" Jumped up and hilarious, hilarious. Let's see. What else does it have to say? Here, pros and cons. Appeals to all ages. It did for us when we were growing up.
Uh-huh.
The Wii was great. Many of our friends, you had a Wii. Um, Innovative controls. They were pretty simple. You didn't have to bash 100 different buttons
And
to play a game.
it was also the first controller to have motion controls,
True.
like to where you'd shake in it and it would respond.
So inexpensive. True. Still, it's today really. Okay. Wow. Wow. No, I don't have a response for that.
When I
yes.
get Nathaniel to just shut up somewhere to say keep.
Okay. I'm never living that down.
No, you're not.
Okay.
As long as I'm around.
Okay. It was inexpensive and quiet. But some cons. Substandard graphics. I mean, yeah, compared to today, sure.
Actually, fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare the GameCube, which came out in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
to the Wii that came out in 2006, the power bump from the Wii is about 1.2 times,
Interesting.
which is,
Not good.
like really not good. Like people would have been like, "Holy cow, why is it so
That's true.
not a huge upgrade?"
And another con they mentioned here was erratic controls. I think that might like be in relation to the fact that the sensitivity of the controllers was insane. Like you could, and you had to like have your hand really still to be able to do stuff because the little pointer on the screen that tracked would jump everywhere if you weren't.
Also, I have not tried this party trick, but apparently, if you lose your sensor bar for your Wii,
Mm-hmm.
just buy 2 candles from Walmart, stick them right around the edges of the TV,
Mm-hmm.
light them, and the Wii remote will work.
Interesting. Did you watch that on TikTok? I'm assuming.
It's not only on TikTok, it's on the internet. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying it's true because I haven't tested it, but apparently...
And that's what we're doing in the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. We're
going to put candles and we're going to light the house on fire. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyway, my favorite console, if you could call it a console, is a PC or the original Xbox.
A PC is not really a console. Just
Shut up.
to let you know about that.
So this is an article that I found called PC versus console gaming, which is better? And we're
Okay,
going to scroll through here.
let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
Just for gaming aspects, a PC is a million times better.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the power. If you get, you build a PC that's worth about, $1,200. It's expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like, people go and spend $5,000-$6,000 on a PC and they're like, oh my gosh, look what I have.
Yeah, and the other thing...
But a PC will be able to handle way more than most consoles will be able to handle.
That's true.
While running a million other things at once.
That's true. So
a PC would win all day long.
that's true. The other cool thing about a PC is that you can customize it. You can get into the guts of it. You can put whatever you want to put in there.
As long as it's compatible. But
that's true. Yeah, but you realize how hard it is to get into some consoles these days. Like find the screws, unscrew.
Well, not only is it that, but there is a warranty sticker.
That's true.
That warranty sticker basically means that if it's peeled or whatever, it's not like factory still there. Anybody who works on it, like, oh, it was pulled apart already.
That's true. Like consoles, you kind of are just at the mercy of how it works already. You can't go in. Well, you could, but you can't really go in and customize it or make it function better, and then still, if you mess it up or if it messes up, still expect for you to be able to get the warranty on it.
Yeah.
To work. So that is that's the thing about consoles that that I think sucks about consoles is the fact that you can't get in and work on it if you wish. But here we have another article about my other favorite console, the OG Xbox. I had this thing right here for the longest time. I've played many games on it. I got it when I was like, um, I don't know, like probably 14, maybe
14, 15, somewhere
14.
in there.
Yeah, like you would know. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, got this.
This man says, like, I would know. He called me one day and was like, I finally got a console. I was like, what was it? I was like, it's the original Xbox. It's the best console ever.
I didn't. That's not.
No, that's not how you sounded, but you're like,
Wait, hold on. Hey Nathan, I got the best console ever. Suck it. No, that's how I sounded back in that day. That's totally how I sounded back then. Nathan was just going through school. He was having a rough time. He gets a call and he's like, "Oh, it's Nathaniel. I'm gonna answer it." Hello? I got the best console ever.
I got the best console ever. Just figured I'd let you know. Bye.
Yes, essentially. But 20 years ago, this was in 2021, so 22 years ago now.
Do you actually know why Xbox actually decided to get into the market?
Why?
Because they saw the console as getting into the all-in-one media device.
That's true.
Because the PS2 not only was it able to play games, it was also able to play movies.
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft saw a threat and was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, boom. And the Xbox was also the very first console to have a physical hard drive inside.
That's true. I have opened my Xbox original many times and saw like a PC looking hard drive in there.
Yeah, and apparently, I'm not sure what the software is called, but the reason it's called Xbox is because of the software it uses.
Interesting.
It uses
DirectX, is it?
Yeah, that's why it's called
what
Xbox.
Computers use as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Is DirectX. So, here's, without even reading this, I can tell you here's the con of the original Xbox. It got so hot. The original Xbox, you sat it on anything. You would move that console, the ground where it sat on would be so hot. Like
you need the fireplace. You just put your Xbox there for about an hour, keep it running, you move it like.
That's true. You get dust in that thing, oh, you're gonna burn the house down.
Actually, I heard that apparently it got so hot that the little capacitors on the motherboard
would blow.
They wouldn't blow, but they'd fall off because the solder would get too hot.
Wow. Well, here's the thing. It was rated an 8.0. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, it was extremely popular.
Yeah, I'm assuming out of 10 is what the. No, it's rated an 8.0 out of 100. It sucked.
No, it's 8.0 out of a million. So
yeah,
it was the worst console ever.
So here's the pros and cons. Originally published November 18th, 2001. So basically, while everyone was reeling from the 9/11 attack, Microsoft was like,
"Okay,
console. May I offer you a console in this trying time?"
Wow.
But likes best under the hood specs, whatever that means.
It basically means it was the most powerful console you could buy when it came out.
That's true. Built-in broadband adapter, so it could connect to the internet. If you wanted it to. So that's cool. 8 GB hard drive for music and saved game storage, and movies if you.
And that's why the Xbox never needed a memory card.
That's true.
While every other console competing with it needed a memory card.
High resolution display port. Well, high resolution of that time.
Yes.
Compared to today's graphics,
high resolution 480p.
That's
that's what it was. 480p. 480p is not high definition.
No, not compared.
720p was the first resolution to introduce high definition.
Mm-hmm. So, and I believe the Xbox 360 has 720p.
Yes.
So
that is its max resolution.
That's true. But compared to today, where you get 2180p or like 8K or whatever
It's
like you get today.
2140,
Yeah.
8K. Consoles say they can do 8K,
I doubt it.
but if you actually look at the specs, they are not powerful enough to render 8K
That's
gaming.
true. That's true. So they lied to all of you.
Pretty much.
Don't like big and bulky. I mean, sure, it was heavy. Like it was.
Yeah.
You picked that thing up, it was heavy.
It was big and bulky.
But remember, this was 2001, so like at the time, I mean, you had the PS2, which like
The
I think
PS2 was.
light. You have a PS2. I've lifted that.
I have a
thing, it's
PS2
light.
Slim.
Well, and that came out after
2006.
Yeah, so that the original PS2 probably was heavier. I'm guessing.
Oh, it was heavier and bulkier.
Yeah. Separate kit required to unlock DVD viewing capacity. I did not know that. Interesting. So you had to buy a separate thing to be able to run DVDs on. Interesting. Are you okay? What'd you do over there, Cube?
That's on you, buddy.
Okay.
You said.
No progressive scan DVD playback. I don't know what that even means.
I don't know either.
So no small feet. Dang. So they got the big feet. You get the feet.
Why are people Oh my gosh! People turn the Xbox or oh my gosh! These feet are huge. That's the worst thing any console's ever had.
Wow. Okay, so we've read that. We've read that. Now this last part may take some time, so this episode may be a little bit longer than usual. But we have here.
Whatever.
We have a tier list of not all, but most of the gaming consoles that exist, and we're gonna tier list rank them right here. So you can see that there's a big list of different ones loading. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make D never heard of, because there are gonna be probably some that we have never heard of. But yes, S tier is the best gaming consoles. A and then C tier is trash, and then D tier is just never heard of. So some gaming consoles we've never heard of or never played on, so we can't really say will be,
Yeah.
So you can see the amount that we have here.
Yes.
It's not all.
We're just gonna go down the list.
A ton. So quickly go down the list. The Atari.
Never played it.
Never played it. Let's see. Coleco.
Never played it.
Never played it. What the frick is this? Mana. That's not something we should play. Atari 2600.
That was the first console I've heard of, but never played it.
Never played it either. The Atari 5200.
No.
Never played it. Coleco Vision. That was Fairchild Channel F. Never heard of that. Okay, let's just keep clicking over here. What in the frick? Nintendo Game & Watch 1980.
Actually, the Nintendo Game & Watch.
Okay.
I have not used one, but apparently there is now a brand new Nintendo Game & Watch you can go buy. It's $40. It's about the size of a credit card, and it plays the entire first Super Mario game.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
But the Game & Watch, you can thank the Game & Watch for gaming today.
Dang. All right.
So I would say I've never played it, but I have done quite a bit of research on it. I would say
A tier?
put it at A tier.
A tier. Okay. Atari's 2800.
Never played it.
Never played it. Commodore 64.
Never
Nintendo Entertainment System. That looks like
that
an
console
NES.
was the biggest console ever to
That's
release.
true. Have you played it?
Because I have not, but I have played games that were on the NES.
That's true.
But I don't know if you've ever heard about the gaming console like Fallout in the 1980s.
Wasn't it between Nintendo and like
No.
Sega
Nintendo didn't even make consoles when this Fallout. It was
Okay.
like so many consoles existed. Like you can see how many consoles we've never heard of.
That's true. I wanna like find out where you can buy some of these things.
Good luck because they don't really exist anymore.
That's
and
true.
if you find somebody that has them,
They're gonna be so expensive.
they're gonna either be super expensive or they don't want to get rid of them. But the NES was pretty much the console that saved the gaming market.
So S tier, would you say?
I wouldn't say for its gaming, I would probably put it A tier.
A
You can
tier?
say
Okay.
all that you want in the comments, but I would put it A tier.
Okay. Sega Master System. I don't know.
The Master
I see a lot
System
of
came
Segas.
before. No, it didn't. I don't remember where
I
it
don't
came.
know.
I
I've
never
never
played
played.
it.
So that's
Never
going
really
never
was
heard.
a Sega guy.
Okay, Atari Lynx Gen 2.
That was the first handheld that Atari had,
Mm-hmm.
but it never really popped off.
So, yep. Hudson Soft, never heard of Hudson Soft. Nintendo Game Boy Pocket.
Game Boy Pocket, that was pretty much a similar version of the original Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I would personally put that at A tier.
A tier. Okay, what about the original Game Boy?
Same.
Same A tier.
tier.
Okay. What about the Nintendo SNES? It's different than the NES.
It's basically the most powerful 2D console you could get.
Yeah.
I would probably say
B tier.
I would say B tier.
Okay. Okay. There's a lot of Segas in here.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis. Have you played those?
I have not, but that was one of the most popular Sega consoles there was.
That's true. Well, let's just bump a bunch of. There's going to be a lot, so let's just go through ones and we'll pick out ones that we've heard of. Okay, Nintendo Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color, that was pretty big. I put that at A tier.
That's an A tier.
Yeah.
Now A tier above or below the Game Boy because they're similar.
I would say it's probably above because it was the first handheld console to introduce color.
That's true. Okay, Nintendo 64.
That was huge.
Would that be our first S tier console? Or high A tier? I would say
in high A tier.
high A tier as well. So there it is. Above or below the Game Watch?
I'd say above. the Game
Above.
Watch.
Okay. Let's see. Sony PlayStation, second gen. So that's PlayStation.
That's a PlayStation 1 Slim.
Yes. So what would you? So original PlayStation. Let's just group these two together. Original PlayStation. Thought?
That would be an S tier because
be
it
an
was
S
the
tier?
first console
Okay.
ever to introduce 3D gaming.
Very nice. Okay. Microsoft, the original Xbox. That's easily S tier,
Yeah.
obviously. Nintendo Game Boy Advance.
Never played it,
Okay.
but there were a lot of game choices for it.
I would say it goes just behind the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nintendo Game Boy Micro.
Never played it, but I could guarantee you, for me, I would say it's garbage. And here's my
Garbage?
reasoning why. Because
Okay,
the Game
C
Boy
tier.
Micro is so small, I would not be able to play it
That's
comfortably.
true. So that's a C tier. That's our
Yeah.
bottom C tier. Okay.
Just for mine, some
Okay.
people probably say they love it because their hands are the size of pennies, but still,
Okay. Nintendo GameCube, the original GameCube. Where would you list that?
S tier.
That's an S tier.
100% S
Okay.
tier.
Now, I would personally put it below the original Xbox, but where would you put it?
I would put it.
Above that?
I would put it above.
Okay. The Nintendo Game Boy SP, or the one that folds, which you gave me one of those.
You still haven't found it. It's like
Still
it's
haven't
like
found
gone
it.
somewhere in the
It's
abyss.
gone to the back rooms. Essentially, but you did own one and you did play it.
I would probably say. I mean, I love that thing, but I would probably put it A tier. I'd put it right behind the Game and Watch.
Behind the gaming watch. Okay, so right here. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, wait a second. Nokia made a gaming console.
Yes, and
I
it
did
flopped.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I bet it was a
and
tough gaming
You ever
console.
wonder why it flopped? Because you've never heard of it.
Yeah. What was that left? Okay. PlayStation 2. That's an easy S tier. I think.
Yes.
above or below the original the original PlayStation? Above.
I
or
would put it.
above.
I would put it above the original PlayStation.
Okay. Okay. Next up we have the Xbox 360. Now there's there's three gens. There's the Xbox 360.
I would just group them together
Okay.
and just put the original one up to basically commemorate all of them. I would put that personally. From my experience, I would probably put it at an A tier.
I'm gonna put it at S tier.
But you are also the host of this.
That's true. I'm putting it at S tier, just barely above the original Xbox, because I loved it and it was the longest console I ever had. Next up, we've got the Nintendo DS. There's a lot. There's Nintendo DS Lite, Nintendo DSi XL, Nintendo DSi, Nintendo DS. There's a lot of those. Let's just group them all together and say the DS.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would put it that at A tier.
That's an A tier. Okay, but where exactly in the A tier? Like
I would put it right below the Game & Watch.
right below Game Watch? Okay, so above the SP, the Game Boy
Yes.
SP. Okay.
Well, where would you put it?
I have never used one,
Okay.
so I don't have an opinion on that one. But here we have Nintendo. Here's the Wii, and also the Wii Mini, which apparently was a thing that I hadn't heard of.
You had never heard of the Wii Mini?
The Wii Mini. Never
Okay,
heard of
what
it,
the
no.
Wii Mini basically did was make the Wii with like only a disk drive on top. That's it. Other than that, it was like nothing.
Okay, let's group them together. So Wii
S tier.
S tier. Where even though I only had one for a short amount of time, I would say it's the nostalgia wins over the amount of time I had it. So I'm gonna put the Wii above the GameCube because
Personally, I'd put the Wii all the way at the top.
yes, personally you would. But guess who's the host of today's episode?
Exactly, but I'm just telling you where I would put
Okay,
it.
PlayStation 3. Where would you put that one? Is probably not an S tier, I would say. A
I'd
tier?
probably put it A tier. The
High A
PS3
tier.
was pretty decent,
High A tier, I would say above the Game Watch.
but also it was one of the least reliable PlayStation consoles.
That's true. That's true. The PSP.
Never used one.
Neither have I. Let's see what else. The Xbox. The Xbox X. The Xbox X. Oh wait, hold on. What in the freaking? There's Xbox. There's Xbox. Shut up! Shut up! I hear you laughing back there. Shut up. Xbox One S Gen 2. Stop laughing. What's so funny?
You're staring at it so intense. You're like, X. You're like staring at it like you've never seen Xbox.
It's
Xbox.
Cube. I get.
It's the Cube
It's the
effect.
Cube. I don't know. Xbox One S Gen 2.
What would I say for Xbox One? I would say it's a flop.
Flop, so you would say C tier?
I would put the original Xbox at the C tier, personally.
The original.
Or not the original, the Xbox One, like the first one that
Xbox
released.
One.
I guess.
Xbox One. Here it is. At C tier.
And here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Because Xbox was so incredibly dumb when they released it. No. Hear me out for a second.
Okay.
The Xbox was released. They're like, oh, it's so cool. They bundled the Xbox Connect, which was sold separately, but they didn't add it as a bundle. They still made you pay for it, but they forced you to pay for it
Wow.
by adding it in the box.
Wow.
And the worst part that they did
Mm-hmm.
is you couldn't get used games because as
Wow.
soon as you stuck that disc in the disc drive, it would bond that to your account. So you take it out, you put in another Xbox. This game is, applied to this person's account. You may not use it.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, and it had to be connected to the internet all the time.
Wow.
Like you lose an internet connection, can't function.
That sucks. Okay.
Exactly.
Xbox One X.
I have one of those, and
Okay.
I'd say that's actually pretty decent.
An A tier.
I'd put it in A tier.
Okay.
The reason it's not an S tier is because the load times are awful.
So above the PS3.
I would.
Okay.
Where
What
would
about?
you put it?
I never had one. I don't judge things unless I have had or played one.
So, in other words, most of this list is my judgment.
So I'm leaving
Even though you're the host of
I've
this,
had a few. I've had an original Xbox, an Xbox 360.
and
I had a Wii for a very short amount of
a
time.
Wii.
Shut up! Shut up! Oh my gosh! I have been cursed by this episode. Let me host this first episode of season 2. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Right.
But now we've got
Now so we got Cube, and now we got
Xbox, and then we've got Shui. Oh my!
All right, well, let's keep going.
Let's keep going. The Xbox One S Gen 2.
I'd put that right below the One X, just because it's a little less powerful.
Okay, Nintendo 2DS.
That is one of the most ugliest consoles I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
I would
2DS.
put that
B tier.
I would put it B tier.
B tier. Okay. 3DS.
I would say A tier, right above the Game & Watch.
Right above Gaming Watch. Okay.
Yes. Gaming Watch? Come on, buddy. English is easy.
Shut up. Okay. Switch Lite. You've had one of these. You still have one.
Okay, here's the problem with the Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't really judge. For me, the Switch Lite would be at the end of the spectrum of the Switch consoles.
Okay.
And here's my reasoning why. Because you can't hook it up to the TV. A video chip in it just doesn't exist.
Wow.
It's strictly handheld, but yet you can connect other controllers to it.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I'd put it at the low end. The original Switch would go in the middle of the three, and the OLED would be on top of the three.
So Switch Lite, it would be A tier?
I would say Switch Lite is A tier.
Right above the Game & Watch?
No, I'd put it above the 3DS.
Above the 3DS. Okay.
Yes.
Original Switch.
I would put that at S tier.
S tier. I've used the Switch, so at least once. So I'd put it right above the GameCube.
Okay.
Wii U.
From my perspective, it was great. That's an S tier console. But from a lot of people's perspective, it would be a C tier console because it was the worst marketing besides the Xbox One.
So let's just split even and put it at top of B tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have the PlayStation 4. Classic.
S tier.
S tier, obviously. But above or below PlayStation 2?
I'd say above.
Above. Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating choice.
I did.
Hold on, what the frick is that? PlayStation 4, there we go. Here it is. There's a lot of random stuff. PlayStation 4 Gen 2, PlayStation 4 Pro. What is the PlayStation TV? That was the next
That is
thing.
basically a PS Vita with no screen.
Ah. Okay.
I would not consider it a console.
Ah. Okay, next up, Xbox Series S. Let's see, I think we talked about that one already, didn't we?
No, we talked about the Xbox One S, not the Series S.
Right, so the Series S, what would you put that at?
I would put that in an A tier.
Mm-hmm.
Because that console is more for people who don't really care as much about gaming.
That's true, but
they care more about TV stuff.
Right, okay, so where exactly would you put it? Above or below the Game Boy Advance?
I'd put it above.
Above, okay.
Above.
Next up, Xbox Series X.
S tier.
S tier. Okay.
It's a cube because it's a rectangle.
To the end of days, they're gonna see. Like, if I ever get famous, I'll be walking down the street and they'll be looking around. Hey, look, it's Cube.
Or it's Shwee.
It's Alrighty. Xbox Series X is S tier. I would put it right below this PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
right above PlayStation 2.
All right.
Then we've got Game and Watch, the 2020 version.
Yeah, that's the new version.
So where would you put that?
I would never played it.
So with the other one.
I would put it with the other Game and Watch.
There it is. Above or below the old one?
Just put it below for now because
Below,
they're
okay.
kind of equal.
Switch OLED.
S tier.
S tier.
Put it
Above.
personally. I would put it above the original Switch.
Okay, the original Switch is way back here. Back behind the Wii Mini.
That's where I would personally put it, but where you have it, I guess, is where you want it.
The Switch OLED, I would say between the Wii and Wii Mini.
All right.
I would say. PlayStation 5. The recent PlayStation
S tier.
is S tier, but where exactly?
I would put it above the Series X.
Above the Series X.
Yes.
Okay. Computer.
That's not really a
we're
console.
We're not discussing it, but it's going in the very top of S tier. Shut up. Not discussing that anymore. Now, we're moving on, and Nathan just decides to take a poop. I'm like, okay, we're moving on. You good? Steam Deck, trash, because I've used one before. It was trash.
It was actually.
It was trash.
Wow.
And that's it. That's all we've got for that
All
that
right.
tier list. And we are at 46 minutes. This is
All right. Well,
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the first episode of Season 2 of the Gen Z Sanctum. Tune in next week for Nathan's hosting to see if Nathan gets a shwee or
I can
A
just speak
cube.
English normally.
So, wow.
Although, I will say,
Yeah.
I saw a story that I
Yeah.
want to do research on.
Okay.
I will say this.
Okay.
It's a paranormal story.
Oh, fascinating. So we might be doing a little spooky
A spooky,
next week. Okay, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Tune in next time.